Figure out how to unfuck this situation.
What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite for a massive video. We have a lot to break down, from new Easter eggs, first-person gameplay on the location of the next Zombies map. We even have the entire DLC season laid out, so we're going to break all that down. And we also have some fake news to debunk regarding a 7th perk over on Maschine. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, just wanted to let you guys know that you can save up to 75% off select Control Freak products thanks to Cyber Monday, but that's not all. You can save an additional 10% on top of that by using code DYNAMITE at checkout. Their link is, of course, down below in the description. Now, I also want to give full credit to Rizzo for the beautiful render that you see in today's thumbnail. His link will also be featured down below. But also be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, because about 80% of you that watch my videos aren't subscribed. So make sure you guys are getting notifications every time I update you on Black Ops Cold War. But like I always have to say, nothing I show in this video will be copyright protected. Everything we're going to be talking about does fall under the fair use laws according to YouTube, and legal action will be taken yet again if this video ends up disappearing. But that would be silly, since again, the source is Activision, it's their game, but there are channels out there with hundreds of thousands of subscribers talking about this quote-unquote leaked content, even showing data mine content on their screens. I won't be showing that in this video, but you then have channels with millions of subscribers that plagiarize and steal content also talking about this information. So I think it is totally okay to be discussing this exciting news here tonight. Now, starting off with the fake news that I want to debunk, we have a report about a 7th secret perk over on Maschine, which is supposed to be called O'Grady's Fight Beer, and I can confirm that it is actually the inside of a Molotov. So in case you guys are confused, somebody out there on Reddit by the name of Brattle Knight went ahead and claimed that they were in a glitch spot near the medical room on Maschine. They somehow glitched under the map, I believe, and there they saw what looked like a big perk machine, and I'll give credit where credit is due. It does look like it could be a perk machine, but upon further analysis, it's just a zoomed in Molotov. Now, why there's a zoomed in Molotov underneath the map is unknown to me, but maybe we'll figure out why that is at some point in the future. I mean, at some point there could have been a new perk located in the medical bay, but as of now, Speed Cola is the only perk that is in the room. What I will say about perks is that as of right now, we know the perks known as Mule Kick, Tombstone, PhD, and Double Tap are rumored to return at some point in time. There are Dark Ether jingles that have been found for those perks, so they're either scrapped content for Maschine, or we'll see their individual machines added into future DLC maps. I think it's a given that with each new DLC map that releases, we'll get a new perk on that map as well, similar to Black Ops 2, and of course similar to Black Ops 4. But right now, O'Grady's Fight Beer has nothing to do with the perks in the game, and is just the brand on the Molotov cocktails that are in Zombies. Now, we also have new information about some unreleased intel for Black Ops Cold War Zombies that, for whatever reason, just isn't in the game. There are calling cards to unlock all intel, but it's just not possible to unlock those calling cards right now. So to unlock all intel, you need 78, but as of now, there's only 59. So we could assume maybe in Season 1, we'll see more intel added. It was confirmed there are 6 intel items from Omega, 10 from Dark Ether, and 3 from Maxis that still have to be found. So it's possible that in Season 1, we could see new Easter eggs added into Maschine, unless they just end up adding in the intel to the point where we could just play Maschine and earn it like that randomly. I'm not sure why that intel isn't in game right now. It could be a bug, right? We have no confirmation on what happened to this missing intel, but the intel is there. There are transcripts for it, which I can't show on screen for obvious reasons, but you can very easily find it all over Reddit, all over Twitter, possibly in people's descriptions. It's all over the place. So I'm on board for them to do something a bit different this year, which is to add Easter eggs post-release. We saw this very briefly with Black Ops 4 Zombies, Blood of the Dead, where they added in the Spork Knife quest, I think it was 6 months after release in February or something. And the reason for that was, of course, because the quest itself was broken on launch and didn't have enough time to actually fix it before the game came out in October. But this time around, how cool would it be to see them intentionally add in side quests, you know, much after the release of the map itself? It would keep Zombies fresh, give us something to keep hunting. I mean, it could even add more to the story that we haven't seen yet. That would be awesome, but leave all your thoughts on that down below. Now, some of the intel does discuss Dark Ether rifts opening up all over the world, world, and this actually canonizes the Zombies Onslaught mode. Why there are Dark Ether rifts all over some of the multiplayer maps, that is why. These Dark Ether anomalies are popping up all over, and the intel goes in depth with it. Even went in depth with a Dark Ether anomaly that opened up near Khe Sanh, Vietnam, of course, and it was confirmed that the Omega Group is constructing a facility near Khe Sanh. Now, Khe Sanh is, of course, the exact location where we had that Vietnam mission back in the Black Ops 1 campaign, and it's, of course, mentioned quite a bit in the Black Ops Cold War campaign. And we know that Firebase Z is in Vietnam. We got a nice look at Firebase Z throughout the second mission known as Fractured Jaw, and thanks to Declan Hillman, he actually managed to glitch out and get first-person gameplay of this Firebase Z location, which we can only see briefly throughout the campaign via a helicopter, but here's some nice gameplay of what that could look like in Zombies. I mean, you could tell that it is a very well-detailed location, and it's a location that we don't get to walk in at all throughout the mission. However, we do land there for a couple of seconds, but that is it. I can almost guarantee you a lot of those assets are, of course, going to be reused in the Vietnam Zombies map. Now, something else that is super interesting, which I'm sure many of you guys already saw, and I was hesitant on talking about this, but everybody has shown it by now, so it should be okay. We have this sign that actually could be found over on this campaign mission, which shows the doctor's quarters. Now, this is, of course, from Shino Numa, and it lines up perfectly with the rumor that every upcoming Zombies map may, in fact, be a remake of some sort, right? The Maschine expanded Nocturne and Toten, Firebase Z may actually expand Shino Numa, and there's more evidence of it right there. I mean, we're also expecting Berlin to have a part of Keener der Toten, and then we'll see what happens with other remakes in the future. But if you guys don't like the format of Die Maschine, then hopefully you at least give upcoming DLC a chance, because an expansion of Shino Numa or Keener der Toten could be quite interesting. I know people are sick of remakes, but let's just give Treyarch a chance to show us what they have planned. I mean, that plan could of course be cancelled, but I would say considering the rumor of Shino Numa and then seeing this sign in game, it's almost a given that Firebase Z will somehow incorporate that good old swamp from the World at War days. We'll have to wait and see. Now, some other intel also mentions Kravchenko playing a large role with what's going on in the Omega Group, so I would say it's pretty safe to assume that Treyarch has a lot of plans for Kravchenko going forward with the Zombies DLC season. He played a small role in the campaign. We got a glimpse of him. At least he has a new character model if they want to reuse it later. But I would say at this point, Weaver and Kravchenko are practically arch enemies, right? Kravchenko is the one that originally took one of Weaver's eyes, and maybe Weaver could get revenge later and take one of Kravchenko's eyes. That would be ironic to see, especially in a cutscene, if we end up getting ending cutscenes in future Zombies maps. But with that being said too, I had this thumbnail made quite a few months ago when we were talking about my thoughts on Fireteam. I do love the mode, and I had a lot of fun with it during the beta. Had a blast streaming it the other day, going for my Platinum Trophy, which we got successfully. But what about Zombies Fireteams? I heard a couple of whispers about this in the past, but I think the intel that we have right now is definitely paving the way for Zombies Fireteams, right? We have Dark Ether anomalies that are popping up all over the world. That's how we have zombies on multiplayer maps. What about zombies on a Fireteam experience? That is almost a given at this point, and I'm really excited by the thought of that. I think that would be great for Zombies players to experience, especially if they aren't a fan of Ruka or Alpine, the current Fireteam maps. So let's just see what happens, but I think it's almost a guarantee to see Weaver and Kravchenko clash once again in a future Zombies map, and possibly even in a Fireteam map if the Requiem and Omega groups also go at it, maybe to destroy some evidence, collect an artifact, or mess with Dark Ether anomalies. That'll be very fun to see. And you know what? The Dark Ether storyline right now has me so intrigued, not just because of the lore they're building with it, but the story is bleeding into other modes, which makes it that more interesting, right? We're seeing zombies in multiplayer, Fireteam later, possibly even in Warzone at some point in the future. So there's a lot going on right now, and I'm very excited for what Treyarch has in store for us hardcore storyline fans. But now, something else that also popped up, which is very important, is the date February 15th. So in the intel we just talked about, there is a base that is mentioned that is being built over in Khe Sanh, Vietnam. So something to do with Firebase Z. The actual base is meant to be finished by February the 15th, and funny enough, that is a Monday, so it could work as a launch window for a DLC map. This could even be the start of Season 2 in Black Ops Cold War, right? Season 1, December 10th, and then Season 2, 2 months and 5 days later. That could actually work, and once Season 1 actually releases, we'll get to know for sure when Season 2 is going to begin. It's also ironic that Tom Henderson mentioned February just a couple of days ago in a tweet as the month when we should expect another Zombies map. So there you have it. Firebase Z may end up launching in Season 2 right at the start. So if you guys are like, well, I guess that debunks any type of Zombies map releasing in Season 1, that's not exactly exactly true. We actually have some information about what the DLC season could end up looking like. It's to be expected to see 6 seasons throughout Black Ops Cold War's life cycle. So as you guys might remember, shortly before the reveal of the Maschine, I received some information, including the map name, which nobody else had talked about at that point. I received information, all of which came true, and you guys had a great time listening to that. It was so funny seeing how much was accurate and how on the dot everything ended up being to a T. But with that information, I also got some details about what the DLC season was going to look like, and I didn't want to believe it at first, but now it's looking a lot more likely. So on top of the teasers we got from the intel and the TV screens and the Maschine intro, it does look like the following locations will be DLC maps. We talked about this already, right? The Vietnam area, the Ural Mountains, Berlin, somewhere in Germany. That's a given, but the same person out there on a Discord server, who you guys probably remember, leaked images of the Maschine pre-patch, right? I think it was a pre-alpha build of the Maschine very early on. That same person went ahead and said the DLC season looks like this. So Season 1, Knocked survival map, so ripped straight out of the Maschine. Season 2, Firebase Z. Season 3, Shinonuma survival map, ripped from Firebase Z. Season 4, Berlin. Season 5, Kiener der Toten survival map, ripped out of the Berlin map. And then Season 6, we should be seeing some type of the Giant, the Reese, German zombies map. That'll be weird, and then possibly a survival version of that at some point after. So if that is the DLC season, I'm not sure how people are gonna feel about that. And if you were pissed off that Knocked is already expanded upon in the only map we have on disc right now, you're probably going to be upset about seeing more remakes throughout the season. But you know what? Let's just wait and see what ends up happening with this. I wouldn't, bet all my money on this being the list. It does line up with what I've heard before, but I'm not confirming this list whatsoever. The person on that Discord server that was leaking images of the Maschine way before the reveal apparently got his information from a second, third, or fourth hand source. So by this point, that could be outdated, could be completely false, but based on the evidence we have from Intel and the Maschine intro, this list does make a lot of sense. And you know what? I would rather see something every season than just having 4 new maps every other season, right? I think this is definitely a much better route to go in terms of replayability. It's adding something to the game. And here's what I was hearing as well right before release. The original plan for launch was to have 3 experiences, right? We're gonna have the Maschine, ZM_silver. We were gonna have Firebase Z, ZM_pink, and then Knocked as a standalone survival map ripped from the Maschine. So look at that list, right? 2 of those things are rumored to already be DLC. So maybe these things are just fully done and they're like, you know what? Let's just have a strong post-launch season. Let's not blow our load at release like with Black Ops 4. Let's not overwhelm anybody, and let's just drop as much content as possible throughout every single season. Maybe that's what happened, right? I was also hearing that Knocked as a survival map was going to be a reward for beating the main Easter egg. I had heard that beating the campaign may have actually unlocked that too. So I think they've always had a plan to at least drop Knocked as a standalone survival map, so they're just going to save that. I mean, it's so easy to do, especially from a developer point of view, so they'll end up dropping that at some point. But Firebase Z, judging on how all of Firebase is already done in campaign, they can easily reuse all those assets for a zombies experience. How they're going to merge that with Shinonuma is beyond me, but let's just see what they have planned for that. If that is about it, this has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think about the proposed DLC season we talked about, the intel that we mentioned, which could actually confirm the exact release date of Season 2, Firebase Z, and what are your thoughts on the fake news with the supposed perk that is actually just the inside of a Molotov? And hopefully you guys enjoyed some of that first-person gameplay of what Firebase could look like in zombies. We got a nice glimpse of that thanks to the campaign glitch, but that is about it. Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everyone.